Welcome back to Auto Rev Now, your ultimate destination for everything fast, bold, and automotive. There are supercars built to dominate racetracks, and then there are machines that challenge the very idea of what a supercar is supposed to be. The Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato enters that space with a completely different mindset, refusing to follow familiar expectations and instead creating its own identity somewhere between raw performance and adventurous freedom. From the very first frame, it feels rebellious in the best possible way, like a vehicle designed not only for speed, but for exploration. It carries the unmistakable DNA of Lamborghini, yet everything about it suggests a willingness to leave perfectly smooth roads behind and search for something more unpredictable beyond the pavement. The exterior design immediately separates the Sterrato from traditional exotic machines, blending aggressive Lamborghini proportions with rugged details that transform its entire personality. The raised ride height changes the silhouette dramatically, giving the car a more purposeful and adventurous stance while still preserving the dramatic lines that define the Huracan platform. Wider fenders, integrated lighting elements, and protective body details create a visual identity that feels almost cinematic, even before the engine starts. This machine doesn't look like it belongs in one category alone. Instead, it exists between worlds, combining the visual intensity of a supercar with the spirit of an off-road rally machine. As the camera slowly captures the bodywork under shifting natural light, the details become even more fascinating. Every angle reveals contrasts that somehow work together seamlessly. Sharp aerodynamic lines meet rugged design cues, while the low roofline and aggressive stance maintain the emotional impact expected from a Lamborghini. This masterpiece feels engineered to provoke curiosity because it challenges assumptions. Most exotic vehicles are designed to avoid rough terrain entirely, yet this performance icon appears ready to embrace dust, gravel, and uneven roads without hesitation. That contradiction is exactly what makes it so visually compelling. Inside the cabin, the atmosphere remains unmistakably Lamborghini, but with subtle changes that reinforce the adventurous character of the vehicle. The cockpit still feels intimate and driver-focused, wrapping around the person behind the wheel with the same sense of precision and control expected from a serious performance machine. Yet there's also a more rugged undertone woven into the experience, reminding you that this car was created for environments beyond smooth city streets and perfect highways. Materials, controls, and displays feel modern and purposeful, maintaining the premium quality associated with the brand while supporting the unique identity of the Sterrato itself. As cinematic footage transitions between mountain roads, open landscapes, and nighttime sequences, the personality of the Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato becomes increasingly emotional. This is not simply a vehicle designed to be admired while parked outside luxury hotels. It feels alive when moving through unpredictable environments, where dirt roads and imperfect terrain become part of the experience rather than obstacles to avoid. The visuals begin to tell a deeper story, one about freedom, spontaneity, and rediscovering the excitement of driving without limitations. This machine encourages exploration in a segment where many vehicles feel too delicate to leave ideal conditions behind. The sound plays a major role in shaping that emotion. The naturally aspirated V10 delivers the kind of character that feels increasingly rare in modern automotive design, producing a soundtrack filled with intensity, sharpness, and unmistakable Lamborghini identity. Every acceleration sequence feels dramatic, not because it is artificially amplified, but because the engine itself carries genuine personality. Whether echoing through tunnels, bouncing off canyon walls, or cutting through quiet nighttime roads, the sound becomes part of the cinematic atmosphere surrounding the vehicle. It transforms driving footage into something more immersive, where audio and visuals work together to create emotion. On winding roads, the Sterrato reveals an entirely different side of its engineering philosophy. Despite the increased ride height and rally-inspired modifications, the car still retains the sharpness and agility expected from the Huracan platform. Steering remains responsive, the chassis feels controlled, and the balance between grip and movement creates a driving experience that feels engaging rather than overly polished. This vehicle doesn't attempt to isolate the driver from the road. Instead, it embraces interaction, allowing imperfections in the environment to become part of the journey rather than distractions from it. What makes this masterpiece especially memorable is the emotional contrast it creates between elegance and chaos. One moment, it appears sculpted and refined under city lights, every surface glowing beneath reflections and neon. The next moment, it's moving through gravel roads surrounded by dust and darkness, looking more like a rally car from an alternate future. Few vehicles manage to feel this versatile without losing their identity, but the Sterrato embraces contradiction as part of its appeal. It is luxurious without being fragile, aggressive without feeling intimidating, and adventurous without sacrificing style. Nighttime scenes elevate that atmosphere even further, transforming ordinary driving footage into something cinematic and almost surreal. Headlights cut through darkness, while reflections glide across body panels covered in dust from previous roads. The surrounding environment feels quieter, more isolated, allowing the machine itself to become the center of attention. This performance icon seems perfectly suited for those moments, where roads disappear into the distance and driving becomes less about destination and more about experience. The combination of sound, movement, and visual presence creates an emotional tone that lingers long after the scene ends. There is also something deeply refreshing about the philosophy behind the Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato. In a world where many performance vehicles chase lap times and technical perfection above everything else, this machine feels driven by emotion and imagination. It reminds enthusiasts that driving can still feel playful, adventurous, and unpredictable without losing sophistication or performance credibility. This vehicle is not about following established formulas. It is about expanding what a supercar can represent. That willingness to experiment gives it a sense of authenticity that feels increasingly rare in modern automotive culture. Perhaps that is why the Sterrato resonates so strongly with enthusiasts and cinematic storytelling alike. It doesn't simply exist to perform within carefully controlled conditions. It invites movement, exploration, and atmosphere. Every environment changes its personality slightly, allowing the car to feel dynamic not only mechanically, but emotionally as well. Whether driving through illuminated urban streets or carving through remote landscapes under fading sunlight, this machine consistently creates moments that feel larger than ordinary driving experiences. And as the final cinematic shots fade into darkness, the lasting impression becomes impossible to ignore. The Lamborghini Huracan Sterrato is more than a variation of an existing supercar platform. It is a statement about freedom, creativity, and the emotional side of performance driving. It proves that exotic vehicles do not have to remain confined to perfect roads and predictable settings to feel extraordinary. Instead, this masterpiece embraces uncertainty and transforms it into part of the experience itself. In doing so, it becomes not only memorable, but genuinely unique in a world where uniqueness has become increasingly difficult to achieve. This is Auto Rev Now, where horsepower meets passion. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss our next review.